You ever wake up and think you're about to have a pretty normal day? Maybe just drink your tea sand, a little wood, mind your own business, and then you open your door and realize your life's turned into a low-budget police drama starring the local HOA, because that's how it started for me. One morning at dawn, standing in my slippers, watching what looked like the world's worst community theater SWAT team roll up my driveway in a pair of golf carts, engines whining like angry hairdryers. 4 men hop out in matching polos, sentinel stitched right on the chest in Comic Sans, I kid you not. Like that's supposed to scare anybody. The guy up front is actually holding a leaf blower, which I guess was meant to look like a weapon, or maybe just keep the porch dust-free during their raid, who knows. So these self-appointed heroes line up on my porch steps, pointing like they're about to break out into a song and dance number. And their fearless leader clears his throat, announces in his best parade ground voice that, by order of the Maple Loop Preservation, HOA, all antiquing activities must cease immediately. And right as he's trying to staple a red violation notice to my door, he manages to staple his own thumb to the wood. Yeah, that happened. I offered him an acorn-shaped bandage from my first aid kit. Seemed like the neighborly thing to do, but he refused, grumbling about duty and honor as he limped back to his golf cart. That's how the whole circus began. Name's Graham Vale, and I just bought the last honest building left in Alder Hollow, a 1928 hunter's cabin with real history, stubbornly standing tall in the middle of all these copy-paste cul-de-sacs and soulless granite countertop subdivisions. The woman who owned it before me, real tough old lady, she'd turned down every HOA buyout for 3 decades, said she'd rather let the place rot than watch it become someone's Instagram backdrop. When she passed, her kids sold it to me because they knew I'd fight to protect what she loved. I'm not complicated. Give me a mug of black tea, a little jazz on the radio, and a stack of sandpaper, and I'm happy as a clam. That old cabin needed every bit of love I had, rot in the joists, drafty windows, a roof that let in snowdrifts every winter, but underneath it all, hand-cut mortise and tenon joints, wide plank floors with square nails, a river rock fireplace that could outlast the subdivision itself. Now, I'm no outlaw. I pulled every permit the city asked for, got the county historic folks to sign off before I touched a single board. Even hired a structural engineer to make sure I wasn't going to bring the roof down on my own head. This was going to be a proper restoration. That's when I met Denise Holbrook, HOA, President, Neighborhood Fashion Police, and owner of a bob haircut so sharp you could use it to cut drywall. Denise had all the warmth of a car warranty robocall and a real passion for enforcing rules nobody remembered voting for. The letter started almost before my building permit even finished taping to the window. Cream-colored cardstock, faint smell of citrus air freshener. She must have had a warehouse full of the stuff. First letter said my restoration project threatened neighborhood cohesion. The next one warned that natural wood tones read as frontier aesthetic, strongly suggesting I paint everything pebble taupe from the official HOA palette. Yeah, nothing says history like a fresh coat of pre-approved beige. Then Denise kicked it up a notch. First, a citation for aggressive paint removal, even though I was following EPA lead-safe practices, plastic sheeting, HEPA vacuums, the whole 9 yards. Next, window misconduct because I was restoring the original wooden sash windows instead of replacing them with the vinyl ones she claimed were more uniform. Even got dinged for unvetted roofing textures, despite both the city and the fire marshal green-lighting my cedar shake alternative. Every citation came with a $200 fine payable in 14 days or else. I almost framed the first one just for laughs, but then she started working the neighborhood door to door, telling folks I planned to turn the cabin into a taxidermy gallery, posing the animals disturbingly, said I was going to hold weekly banjo nights, attract undesirable musicians. My personal favorite, she told one neighbor I might be running a bed and breakfast for bears. Some people actually believed her, which, have you met a bear? Suddenly, every morning, I'd find a guy in my rhododendrons with a clipboard measuring the porch with a tape that read, "Live, Laugh, Level." The neighborhood app lit up with drone photos of my scaffolding captions, wondering if I was operating a black market lodge. Denise, in her infinite wisdom, formed a security committee, ordered up yellow vests, and printed badges compliance marshal in a font even angrier than Comic Sans. Their little golf cart patrols started circling my lot at all hours, scribbling notes, radioing back and forth on walkie-talkies that mostly just crackled static. The real showdown came on a Thursday clear, as Glass Denise called it a stop-work intervention. I was cutting new sill plates for the windows when her security squad hopped. My low fence marched straight up to my sawhorses and slapped an official HOA stop-work order across my tools. Bright orange paper lots of fancy stamps that looked suspiciously like clip art. They even tried to kick my electricians off the job, threatening citizens' arrest. Miguel, my electrician who's built half the county over the last 25 years, just looked at me deadpan and said, "Early lunch." I nodded and off he went. Next thing I know, Denise is on the phone with city code enforcement spinning tales about me tearing out structural walls and attracting owl-themed wildlife hazards. She kept the poor code guy on the phone for 40 minutes describing imaginary violations like she was narrating a crime documentary. She was real proud of herself, but what Denise never figured was Alder Hollow sits inside a county historic overlay, actual law, not just HOA fan fiction. All my permits, every last one posted right in the window. And the cherry on top, Denise's security team filmed themselves jumping my fence and trying to unplug my construction power, then uploaded the video to the HOA Facebook group with the caption, "Citizens Abatement," all caps. The city inspector saw the whole thing before I even got a call. By lunchtime the next day, my porch looked like a press conference, real city inspector sheriff's deputy, and Mara Clean from the County Historic Commission, all sipping iced tea I keep around for grown-up moments like this. I handed over my big binder photos of every repair stage stamped permits, every letter Denise ever sent, and best of all, freeze frames from the citizens' abatement video. The deputy calmly explained state trespassing law and what happens when you interfere with legal construction. The inspector pointed at their fake stop-work order and recited, almost like a bedtime story, the statute on impersonating an official notice. And Mara, who I swear is the patron saint of crown molding, she announced that my cabin was now preliminarily listed for local landmark status, thanks to the original joinery and hand-hewn ridge beam. She smiled at Denise, warmest, most devastating smile you ever saw, and told her that not only was my project legal, it was encouraged. But Denise wouldn't let go. She called an emergency violation tribunal at the clubhouse with folding chairs and a slideshow titled "Rusticity, a Menace." There were stock photos of raccoons, kayaks, and a graph based on, I guess, pure emotion. When it was my turn, I just played their own video. The whole room watched her security squad jump my fence yank cords, staple their thumb to my door. Gasps all around. Then Mara rolled out the draft for the new landmark plaque, and the inspector read formal citations into the minutes. The deputy served Denise a summons for trespassing and interfering with permitted construction, and handed her security captain another packet for running an unlicensed private patrol, which apparently takes actual certification. The HOA board looked like someone had poured ice water down their backs, voted 7-0 to rescind every violation, pay me for my construction delays, and suspend the security committee until further notice. By sundown, Denise was out as HOA president, unanimous vote. The city fined her $12,000 for the fake reports and phony notices. The court issued a restraining order banning her from contractors or my property line. And when the insurance company got wind of the unlicensed patrol, they jacked up neighborhood premiums so high the board had to invent a new hubris fund just to pay it. Denise's criminal diversion agreement, 120 hours of community service supervised by the Historic Commission. Her main job, stripping lead paint from window sashes by the book. She also had to take a class called What a Permit Looks Like. I'll never forget the sight Denise in a drooping bob stuck in a folding chair as the board announced each consequence, cycling through shades of red and white like a malfunctioning traffic signal, watching her tiny empire of paperwork and paranoia unravel right in front of her eyes. And she couldn't say a single word. So where do you draw the line between protecting a neighborhood and just bullying the people who care about it? Ever tangled with an HOA that went too far? I want to hear your wildest stories, your justice moments, your battle scars. Drop a comment. Share your thoughts on what's fair and what's just plain foolish. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more real stories straight from the front lines of American neighborhood drama.